everyone. Like today, also we have come together in order to have a session where a discussion where we'll be discussing on a particular topic. And today the topic would be like everyone except realized beings are living in a burning house, and that will be today's topic. And yes, Punit, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Today is a rainy day here.
It's raining too. Yeah, okay, nice.
So you are saying that everyone in a burning house. So that what do you mean by everyone is in the burning house?
Punita, it's like, the reason why I say that, and that's what I can say. And there was a saying that even Buddha has shared something very interesting. He said that, like, how someone's supposed to be trying to get out of this burning house. It's like, imagine how someone's supposed to be looking for enlightenment is like. Like, imagine someone's head is on fire, you know. So how would you try to get out of this fire right now on your head? And that kind of an urgency that someone's supposed to have in order to find enlightenment or find their liberation. I just took that one story, And the reason why I'm saying that is, Puneet, and that is the reality. People have sugar coated it nicely so that they will not see their suffering, which is underneath that everyone is going through in their life. The reason why someone is just going through this cycle of samsara is because they like it. They like it. They love that suffering.
I realized that even
Otherwise,
I like the serial. The mother likes to watch drama because if there is no drama in their life, they find some form of drama and they are enjoying it. Enjoy the fight and everything. Yeah, sometimes
yeah,
it's
do you
like
know that
even
the most
me,
watched
I like.
movies are horror movies? The people, if they, it's not like, the most watched movies are always comes like horror or this kind of movies. Yeah.
It's funny when I was a bit more younger. I was whenever my life is so stable, like used to be nothing. I was, even have a desire to let's kidnap me. I wanted some thrill. Want to go? So boring with the same routine. Kidnap, and then I must be safe from the.
Funny.
People are so like, just don't like to do the same things again.
Exactly. There's a question mark that do they really need peace? And that is the truth. And then there's a like it's like people are living in a burning house, and somehow they figure out some fans within the burning house, and then they just stay there somehow. And then if someone comes out of the burning house and they ask, do you want to come out of the burning house? And then they ask the question, is it good outside? Is it cool outside? Isn't that a funny question to ask, right? And that's what I can see when people are like, and they are supposed to try to come out of this burning house. Their whole life is suffering, But as I shared, like it is being sugar coated. You can't see it. But if you really see it for reality, there's nothing in there, At the end, in 2019, I think by October, I came to a point I sort of exhausted the whole material world trying to find happiness in my life. And then I realized there's nothing in here. Even like, let's say you cling on to some happiness, it won't last longer. It's going to go away. And so that is, and this happiness, I could say happiness and sadness, where the happiness ends, where the sadness starts. It's like a cycle. It can turn just like that the other way around. You understand what I'm saying?
You told us like something like sugar coat, right? In what way we have that sugar coat?
That's what I say, like people are living in a burning house. Like, like why people do all these things, why they are on a run like this. Because if they sit, all their pain starts coming out from it. So what they can do is they sugarcoat it. They find ways that they can distract them.
In what ways? Like relationship, like a movie?
Relationships, marriages, movies, and traveling, and you name it. Because you don't want to stay with yourself. You want to distract, because if you stay with yourself or drinking, going into a concert, everything that people are doing in their life, And like, let's say COVID came, the COVID came, and people, the mental health and depression started skyrocketing. What is going on? Nothing happened. Just people are staying in their home, And some people, they even haven't stayed with their husband and wife together for a long time, and that they feel so weird and awkward to even stay like that. And I've seen situations like that. They feel so difficult to do it because they have been avoiding them so long, and right now you need to start staying with them. You get what I'm saying? Because now you have no way that you can avoid the person is staying inside the home. Yes. And they were nicely managing to not stay together, nicely avoiding together, so that they will not encounter.
Even I felt like my parents, my father always away from the house, like my mother, the weekly once only holiday. In the COVID time, they got a lot of arguments, like
I mean, I'm
like cannot be put together, then they face the reality.
Exactly, because it's too much. Yeah. So that's what people ask when I ask people to come out of this burning house. Is it cool outside? Is it how it is outside? Which is completely insane question.
I heard something.
Because they find it some AC or like at the middle of the burning house, they might find some like distractions. I say some AC or some fan. So they are not
just survive.
They're just surviving. Yeah.
This is what we call surviving.
Yeah. And this is what's really happening, Punita, in everyone's life. They are managing so that they will not see that.
There is another saying that say we should not run away from our problem, must face it, otherwise we will get the same situation again and again. So what is the difference between these two? Like, for example, for example, you told me that a burning house is like, in another example, I could say something, there is a poop over there, it's so smelly, and then we light up some incense and then a fragrance over it.
And that's what people are doing.
Rather than cleaning it up, right? Cleaning it up.
Yeah.
So My
Yeah,
question is, sometimes we also used to hear, I also used to hear, you cannot run away from your situation. You need to face it. Otherwise, the universe will give
and
a lot
also
of
I
ups.
sometimes tell my clients and people who talk with me that wherever you're running away from is where your enlightenment resides. You know, and for example, like in the past, I didn't like to stay in Sri Lanka. You know, and I wanted to run away from here. You know, because I thought that that is what creates the suffering and unhappiness in me. And then, like, I realized that is where I'm supposed to be. And that's where I found the truth, you know, and I stayed it regardless. You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying? I stayed in there. And that is where I found the truth in the first place. You know, I didn't want to go in anywhere trying to find it. I was staying inside my room the whole time. You know, I was like doing all the inner work and everything inside this room. Yeah.
Mm.
So I also started running away from here, but at the end, this is where I found the liberation. Do you see?
How to stop having the sugar coat and then face the reality? It's so scary. I tried, but it's so scary.
It is. It is. Trust me, Punita. You know, it is. And, you know, like sitting with your pain, there's nothing more like courageous than that. You know, like let's say someone just going through a breakup in their life, what they try to do is to try to avoid the pain that they're
Mm.
having. They will try to go drinking. Even people who don't drink, they will start drinking at that particular time.
Some people
You know?
go after one after one after one just to, cover the pain. So they
Yeah,
cannot stand alone because the aloneness, the pain will come up.
exactly. So the only way is going through that pain and being with that pain. There is no any other way.
Is that
And
there
and
is any end to it? This suffering,
it
this
is,
pain,
it
really?
is. Yes, it is. And that's what you call enlightenment, going beyond your mind. And you realize that you're not your mind or you're not your body. You're not
It's
even
only
your
will happen
emotions.
after we heal all our pain.
Well, I can't say that really. You know? Yeah. And because I might have gone through a lot of trauma in my life as well. And but I was living in the present moment to moment. So those things started fading away, I could say, because
What I
I
mean
didn't
is
really
like
give.
we have a lot
Yeah.
of shadow works to do, right? A lot of pain inside us, and we are running away and all that.
Some
We
pain, yes,
must.
we need to face it and we need to heal it. There's no other way. There was pain like that, and I had to sit with it. I had to do some inner work. I had to do some forgiveness exercise. You know what I mean. As we do together, and so those things I had to do on myself. But there was some stuff that I was living in the present moment because more I meditate, more I release things on its own. I feel like things happening on its own. And when
I
you're living
realized
in the present moment, your past starts fading away from your life. Some of the things could be like painful events, as well as pleasurable events start fading away from your life. So I can't really say that you need to fully heal yourself in order to wake up or anything like that, because there were people like you take Eckhart Tolle's story. Like he was in the middle of a very depressed place, and there was another woman called Byron Katie, and she was also in a very bad place. And then they suddenly woke up. So, and things like that could happen. So, but there are some pain you really need to go through that and heal yourself, which I myself had to do it. And yeah. But I want to emphasize that this is not right. Like, when we try to do things like with effort, the ego try to find it, oh, I'm doing something or something like that. Then it creates more ego in yourself. And if that is happening, then there's another problem. So there's another crowd of people who are now pursuing enlightenment and meditation, and they create another ego and try to even publicize that this is what I'm doing right now. Like, that is unnecessary, because you create more ego out of you. Like, you're trying to, there's this mountain, and you're trying to shred off this mountain, and you're on top of that, you're creating another ego out of this spirituality. Is more madness, So, yeah.
So the intention, always ask why you are doing this. You want to show off to people, or is it for yourself?
Yeah. But showing off is something like showing off happens because you don't know about the reality.
Finding the self-worth, right? Through these activities. Again, this will give the person the self-worth.
Yeah. So, like, if you put something out inside in social media or something like that, and how many likes that you get, and you start seeing that you attach that as your worthiness.
Yes.
Then you're like, good luck,
That's why I'm away from social media now.
Yeah, I think, social media is not something which is so necessary.
I find it as a distraction for me.
It is a distraction. It is a complete distraction. Even I was not even in social media. I recently, not recently, really, like 2 years back when I started coaching, only because I wanted to make aware about the coaching. So that's only when I came into social media. Otherwise, I didn't even have an account. Now only I have an account. Even that I'm not operating, and the other people were really like operating, not even me. Yeah. Yeah. So.
So, so how to bring that courage? You talking about that is about courageous to face the reality, face the pain, instead of running away or hiding from somewhere behind some, you told like sugar coats, right? So how to bring that courage in us?
Yeah, the courage. Okay, interesting. I think I like one way I got the courage is like that I had some support. I could talk to someone who is more aware or more conscious than me. So that person could be listening to you. And that also supports you to stay with your pain. You're not running away from it. Whatever you need to do, if you want to cry it out.
It will create so much of drama. The mind will tell us like, you are not safe. You are not safe now. You are in a danger. It will create like something like even a real danger kind of emotion. It will create some emergency kind of feelings. Like, you need to be safe. You are not safe now. The kind of emotions all will create.
So the courage is put that way, like one way so you can get the support of someone who's more aware about, more conscious than you. And then the courage could be also like if you have some faith in whatever you want to call it, whether it's God or universe, or even in your teacher, that also supports you. There were times that I had conversations with with Osho. I mean, he's already passed away, you know. And but
Interesting.
I remember, yeah, because I feel Osho is someone who is very dear to me, you know, and like so, I really felt his presence in my life, even though he was never alive. When I was born, that is the same year he was dead. So yeah, but I felt that he was present in my life, and I had a nice connection with him. And so those, like I told you sometimes when things are very tough, like I started like really, you know, I just connected to them and stay with my pain regardless. And I encourage you to stay with that pain. Another reason, the reason is because if you go, whatever you go, if you go very deep into that pain, there's a possibility that you can experience the highest peak of bliss as well, you know. So it's a good thing. And also another thing is, Punita, like even when you're having a sleep at night, when you're sleeping at night, mostly you wake up when you're going through a nightmare, right?
Oh, we
When you are sleeping and imagine some prince has come and you're having a nice fantasy like a dream, you will not wake up. You don't want to wake up. Why? You will like to sleep more. Having said
yeah. I will
that,
sleep again and trying to go to the dream again. Oh, this was so nice. I want again to continue the dream.
yeah,
Happened to me.
yeah. So only in nightmares people tend to wake up.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate your pain, and that is like I'm so grateful for the pain that I've gone through in my life. And the best part is I somehow stayed with it without going. I mean, there were times that I was also distracting myself through food, through movies, through relationships. You know, there were times like that I was also distracting myself. But there were times I realized that there's no other way other than sit with this.
Why you are saying that awakening, like enlightenment, is the end of suffering? Why? People say some. I heard some this kind of saying. Enlightenment is the end of the suffering. Why it is end of the suffering?
Why? Because you just get out of the burning house. That's why. You know, it's just because you finally realize who you are. You are in this life without even knowing who you are. What kind of a joke is that? And that is why the suffering. Because you have identified yourself with the wrong thing. You know, you have identified yourself with a relationship, with your mind, with your body, you know. You name it. I can go on with even with your career, with your knowledge, with your degree, with your PhD, with your appearance, with your age, with your car, with your house, you know. Why? Because you don't know who you are. And you go through endless suffering because of that. Endless. And imagine like the burning house is like that you have Punita. And there's a world around you, you know, your mother, father, siblings, and everyone, and your relationship or your partner, whoever, all these things start coming up. And imagine something happens to one of these things that you think yourself, like even if your dear ones like father or mother, how much pain you're going through. How much pain. And imagine you have a child. You know, something happened. I feel like, I don't know about other relationships, but I can see the mother and the mother or son, mother or daughter, this whole mother relationship is very strong. You know, this with the child, father, I'm telling you know, this relationship, especially even with the mother, because mother is like, it's like a same part of you coming out of. See, and that's very strong, very strong. You know, that's why many people have woken up sometimes when they lose their child, when they see their own child's death. They wake up with so much pain. Because you already identified yourself with the child to a point that you yourself have forgotten, and once the child is gone, you're gone. You know, I had the same similar experience like that when I went through the breakup. I told you about this whole so many years back, you know. And then in that particular relationship, I have completely identified myself with the relationship to a point that I do like, it's like myself is the relationship. And once the relationship is gone, I feel like I'm dying. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a complete.
Is it like the
death.
world is the relationship? The kind of feeling?
It was kind of like that for me, at least, at that particular, because I was very young and very sort of immature. And that was my whole world. and then
Like we don't know anything other than that. Mind is only have that in.
yeah, that is
Like
my identification. You know, this is who I am. And I it was so painful. I like at that particular moment, I felt like I had an ego death, mini ego death. I really died at that particular event. Because I had to let go of that, but I have identified it as myself. Yeah. So
like
I'm telling
in your
you, for
case,
any of
it's relationship. For some other, have something else. They may
something,
have
maybe their
like
son, maybe their daughter,
maybe their career.
career. Yeah.
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 Like, you know, if that take 100% of a
Some
percentage in
people
your life,
appearance. Some
appearance.
people appearance. Yeah. They're
Mm.
so identified with that, and something happens that like there.
Mm.
You know, yeah. Yeah, so imagine, so you created a
But I
whole.
can't really make it happen for me now. Like if I wanted to drop all the identification, I don't know the way.
Yeah, Punita, it's like, I'm not telling you to go away to a mountain or anything like that. All these relationships could be there, but you're mentally getting detached. You know, yeah, that's a process. That's a process. And that's why sometimes I work with people, because people for longer term, you know, sometimes 1 year, 2 years, that kind of period I'm working with clients, is the reason is that it's a process. You know, you can't do it just like that. You know, so there are many ways that you can do it. One of the biggest ways for you to like some people they really, you know, yeah. So some people they just really. So what's your question, Punita? How you say?
How to break through from the identification? If it's like example, if relationship is their main identification or something, career. You told me that that is a process. So is there is any way?
Yeah, so I remember one time I was doing this one exercise where I written down
Mm-hmm.
like all the things that I like, all the identities of my life, all my identities,
Okay.
and
I was writing that too, but mostly what comes to me is I even identify myself with some emotions like
yes,
depression.
yeah,
Depression was there always because I already identify myself with this
exactly.
emotion.
And some people are there, they are so attached to their depression because now depression has become themselves. For them, releasing that depression is like dying. And this is your depression. Now it has become you. Either you will
Yeah.
stay with this rather than
Example,
letting go of it because
powerlessness. Like I could say I was a bit
yeah,
child where feel a lot of powerlessness. So it was there along the way all the time, which means I identify with that, right? That uh, emotion, powerlessness. So
yeah.
how, if this is the case, how
So
to
one thing I remember one time I was like really writing down all these identities and two powerful identities which
mm,
came up is I am this mother's daughter and father's daughter, and those were like I really
this is very
see,
big
and
identity,
it's
right?
huge. It's huge. I saw that it's very huge, like huge. And I remember I was really contemplating on that. Is it true, really? And
But logically, it will say, yes, you born to this person. You have
yeah,
a lot
but
of
I really
weaknesses.
went very deep with it, Punita. I sit with it and I started going, I was contemplating on that particular thing. Do you hear some drums and some sounds like that coming up? No,
Sound?
no, from here. There's some,
No,
there's something I can
no.
hear,
I think
no
maybe
problem.
here I have a
No,
sound.
no, it's like, yeah, it's background. So, I really contemplated to a point that I
Mm-hmm.
really realized that this is not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is like stripping off of
What
who
kind
you
of
are now.
sentences you use to prove yourself that that is not your mother or that is, it's very huge.
It's not that it's not your mother, really. You see the truth about the thing. How do you really know that? And you sit with it. And I came to a point that I don't know.
Anything.
This is not easy stuff, Bonita. This is not easy. I remember when I was going into very deeper, not knowing of who I am. I was releasing everything. Even the knowledge that I gathered in the university and everything, those were coming
I
in
think now
between the
I have a
journey.
lot of spiritual knowledge.
Yeah, let it go. Spiritual knowledge can't wake you up. Spiritual knowledge can't. Then I read like 70 plus books of Osho, just of Osho. How much knowledge then? Those are
Hmm.
knowledge. I mean, like, that can't really wake you up. But anyway, it's not, it can't really say knowledge because that's something a realized person is talking about. And so that really went very deep to me. But I could say even those, everything, what you know is what you have borrowed from someone else. Come to the inner sense. How do you know anything is true? It's all borrowed. Even if I tell you that life is a dream, it's an illusion. And Hinduism, it says that, like Hinduism, we were saying the whole time, and Buddha was saying that this whole thing is nothingness, and Hindus, it says Maya and everything for a very long time, but nothing is happening. People are just living in this illusion all because knowledge can't, because it is something borrowed again. So that is why you need to have a direct experience of this.
Hmm.
Whatever you know is nothing but borrowed from someone else. Even like if you take your sibling, your parents are saying, this is your brother, this is your brother, this is your brother, this is your, how much conditioning, It was difficult for you to get that conditioning in the beginning. It's like,
this is your father. This is your
father. Like, that's how it happened. And then what I did was I went back to that, like let's say it's a snowball effect. I went back to that innocence. I went asking, questioning everything, and then like let's say it's a snowball gathering such a big ball. Now I went back, releasing that snowball back to the center again, back to where it all started. And those things started dropping on its own because I started seeing the reality as it is. And also living in the present moment also helps a lot. And then the meditation helps a lot to release this mental conditioning. Like you don't need to do anything. You can sit and stay. I remember like I was sitting in meditation and I was cleansing. Completely. I was just releasing. It's like I can see literally when I'm meditating, I'm rewiring myself completely. I wake up and it's a different world. And that's the reason why I was motivated to meditate. Otherwise, people are not really motivated to. The whole life, my whole world was changing because of the meditation. So I was not
like after every meditation, it's feel like you are a new person.
Not every meditation, I could so say, but there were very much meditations which went very deep into the core. And I could literally see that I was releasing. It was like a therapy for me, self-therapy. And that is the reason why I was meditating every day. I was working in a corporate job, but I was meditating. That consistency is key, Punita. When you're practicing something, consistency is supposed to be there. Otherwise, it's difficult. So that accumulates. It's not becoming 1 + 1 2. It becomes 1 + 1 4 5 6. Because consistency creates multiply that consistency. So you like sometimes meditate one time and then next day no.
It's like again start from beginning.
Yeah, but that has accumulated effect. Yeah, so that's why the consistency. If you're practicing anything, that consistency is supposed to be there.
So meditation is like opposite to the stimulation, like really sitting with the
because
reality.
you're sitting with yourself, with the reality. That's like no stimulation.
I think that's why many, even including me, run away from meditation sometimes because we don't want to.
Everyone running away from meditation.
Sometimes I used to cry after suddenly middle of the meditation started to cry.
Yeah.
Like suddenly it's coming out.
Yeah, so even meditation people have created as a stimulation now. They chant a mantra or something like that, so that again, same story. Now again they found a solution so that they can forget themselves.
So the mantra is not really a good thing.
I mean, in a way, like rather than not meditating, it's
maybe it's for beginner.
Maybe it's
for stay focused or something like that.
Yeah. It's like the samadhi meditation. I'm not talking about mostly samadhi. I'm talking vipassana. Where you see where you observe your mind.
Witnessing everything. Right? It's not like some people are misunderstood, like we should not have any thought. Then it is if have a thoughts means there is no meditation. It's not like that, right? Whenever have thoughts also, we just witnessing the thoughts. It's still meditation.
Yeah,
Right?
witness is there. Exactly.
Mm.
And some people are so worried that they have thoughts. Of course. Of course thoughts are there. And what's the problem if you're not your mind?
Mm.
That is the thing.
So increase the time of meditation will help a lot, right?
Increase is not the word because you wouldn't believe how long I was meditating. I started meditating for 3 minutes. From 3 minutes, not only for you, like you, I mean, even for me, it was difficult.
3 minutes.
3 minutes I started.
Okay. And then
And then I went for 30 minutes.
I'm interesting.
Yeah. And then I increased it, not like 3 minutes to again like 30 minutes. No. 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, like that, over time. But I was meditating every day for 30 minutes. That consistency was there. So this is what I want to emphasize. It's very important if you're meditating, please do it consistently. It makes a difference. For me, I didn't want to give up because I could see the results.
Must do at the same time or it's
same time at the same place. Maybe because that also creates the energy around that space. This is the same place. Even though sometimes I just sit. It's not the meditation. I just sit and stay. And I do it here in this chair. And this is where I do coaching. And when I'm here, it's different. Like, yeah. So do it in the same place, same time, if it's possible. Yeah. And also for me, there was a thing about me. When I do meditation at night, I go very deep. Even the realization happened.
Some people say that early morning, like 4 a.m.
Yes,
is good.
some people. Yes. That's nice. I'm happy with them. I'm not that. I found it difficult to wake up in the morning because my entire life, like I had to go travel to travel 1.5 hours or 2 hours for school every day. So I had to wake up at about like 4:30, somewhere around that.
So you hate that.
I was like, no.
It reminds you of that time.
No, I just didn't like it. Yeah, so that's not for me. I love nighttime for some reason. And then also I go very deep in the meditation. Yeah. This is like today, if you take, this is 3 years back, I had my awakening very similar to this kind of days, where the full moon days were there. This is like I could say 3 years back. It's like a period
What is
like
the
this. I had the awakening.
Is it night time or morning time?
What do you mean the awakening? Yeah, I think 1:30, somewhere like that.
At night?
Night, yeah. I was present like to a point which is fully present. That's it.
Is it in the meditation? Happen in the meditation?
I was living every day. I was living meditation. That period, I was like completely connected already. I was completely in meditation.
There is any glimpse that you see when you are going nearer to the meditation? You have the glimpse of it, like
I could say
more.
I think I wasn't. One thing, I wasn't bothered about any enlightenment.
Okay.
I was already happy, and I felt like a treasure hunt because I was very connected. I felt very connected and guided. I was like I remember there was a book that I wanted to read, and I didn't have that book. Okay, and even from Kindle I couldn't get the book. And then I was like, oh, how can I get this book? And then someone downloaded that book in that person's laptop, and I took snapshots from my phone. That's how I read the book. And that book had many clues for me to wake up. Do you see? And I put that kind of an effort to read that book. Imagine I took snapshots of the book,
all the pages.
All the pages. Because otherwise I don't have, it's on my laptop. And somehow there was no any other way, for me to go about it. I took every snapshot and I read it.
You are really very good in reading books.
Yes. Yes.
Is it like if you sit down one day, you will finish a book, or you will take time for finish?
It's like I get immersed in the book, Sunita, because I can see this. I'm getting clues. It's like even that is a meditation for me. In the awakening, I felt like everything just got connected. I was like, oh.
Like all the clues, like here from there, and everything become one big picture for you. Like
just
all
big
comes
picture.
together.
It's like
puzzles, like here a bit, and one day become full picture. You can see the full.
And then you have this experience for yourself. Whereas Dilmi is gone.
And then it's not experience, right? It's like
no, because then the experiencer is there. Because one time even for someone like I had a podcast and he put my enlightenment experience. I said let's change the title because this doesn't sound right. My enlightenment experience. He said no, let's like to get the attention, and I understand. So because it doesn't. I mean, I feel weird because my enlightenment experience doesn't sound so right because it's not my. If Dilmi was there, then there's no experience. So I can't really claim that Dilmi got awakened. That is complete lie. If I say that I awakened, that's a lie. I can't claim it. It's just Dilmi has to go in order to realize it because you merged with the ocean. You were a wave until then, and the wave merged with the ocean, and that's it. Gone.
Is it like the next moment Dilmi come up again, or that's it? Like what I'm asking is, in that moment Dilmi merge with everything, and then the next moment again Dilmi comes up, or it's like
not Dilmi comes up. It's like thinking is there. The mind can be there. Mind could be there to reflect what happened and all that. The mind is just got back to the source. It's just
you need to sometime recall back what am you doing and everything, right? Sometimes it can be like
I think I had a orientation was like I found it a little difficult to orient myself after it because I remember I was looking at something and I'm emotional. Because I'm like, let's say I'm looking at the rain and I'm crying. It's tears.
Are you like,
and I look at some person and I'm crying.
You become that at that every moment. If you really looking at something, you become that. I heard this from somewhere.
Yeah, it's very similar like that. Yeah. It's
like looking at the tree and then you become a tree at that moment. I heard something like.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you have merged with like it's like that is the example that I could say that you were a wave, and that wave just merged with the ocean.
What kind of feeling you had at that moment? Like, is it so blissful or there is no feelings?
It's a good question for me. So I could say something like that there is no feeling either.
There
But
was
if I try to talk about and talk to you in terms of your terms, you know,
maybe I never even experienced that kind of emotion.
let me tell you in your words. You put happiness and sadness together. Now what do you feel? That is what I feel. Now I need to find a way to communicate.
How to merge these two? Then there will be nothingness. So it's like, in the middle there is nothing.
Exactly. You know, and that is what I felt. Now, if you ask, but it's not right to say I felt something like that. That is not true. But now I want to talk in your terms. So if you ask that what I felt, that is what I felt. Happiness and sadness merge together. What would I be happy about? What would I be sad about? You know? Do you understand? What would I be happy about? What would I be sad about?
There is nothing to be happy. There is nothing to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good question. Even I found it interesting.
Because I thought even the emotions is something that comes and goes like a thought.
Like there is no feeling. That is what I'm trying to say. When you merge them together, there's no feeling there.
Is it scary?
Because feeling is like.
Is it comfortable to you at that moment to see those things? Like suddenly it's so weird, right? Does it like look so weird to you? Seeing something beyond your comfort zone is sometimes can be very uncomfortable, right?
Well, like when I talk about it, I get very connected to it. Like I mean, so it was like the truth.
I'm asking this because even in the meditation time, in the middle of the meditation, I wanted to stop the meditation if I go deeper. You know why? Because I felt like uncomfortable is arising. Like, it's so weird. It's like very subtle kind of feeling. Then I was like, I want to come out. Like, that's why I asked you. I will consciously stopping me from going deeper because, like, I'm afraid of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if something happened to me? Like, I don't know what kind of fear.
Yeah, because what you see, it's like that. Like it's unknown.
It's unknown, yeah.
Yeah, so it is the most familiar thing you could ever imagine. It is the
most
truth.
Familiar.
It's like it's like it's coming home back. I get tears talking about it. It's your home. You back in your home.
Yeah. So it won't feel like that. It feels like more.
It's like the truth. This is it,
This is not real actually. That is the more real. Okay.
Yeah, because yeah, yeah. The only way I can, I mean, it's difficult to express in words, and I find it very difficult to express this in words, And the only way, like, and then after that, I cried for many hours because to whom
Cry
I
out
could,
of oh,
I
cry.
just cried. I just cried to see the reality, to see
Is
how
it
for how
out of
long,
happiness or sad or just feel like crying?
just tears, Yeah, there was a cry with I could say both. That's why I said for what we can be happy about. So what could you be sad about? You know,
Mm.
because all the dear ones are also gone. The ones that you truly love and you were with. You get what I'm saying? Because the relationship is, the relationship part is what I really get hooked with in life. And so I just cried and for some hours. And just like you said, is that sometimes when you go deeper in the meditation, you feel like you want to avoid it. And before the awakening, I could say seconds ago the awakening, I was terrified. I was terrified. Like that's what I was saying, that I sometimes used to say that like if there was a grass, I would have held on to that grass. Because to experience and there is the whole world just a complete nothingness the whole time, the entire time. And your mind was keeping the illusion alive.
I think this talk is really inspiring me to do meditation. Like now I can feel like I want to do meditation.
You do it. So completely changed my life. You Yeah, so that's like, and also at the same time, the liberation, the really, it is, I can't express that in words, you know, because you are not here just for one birth, this is not just one lifetime. This, you're waking up from so many.
You know what? This is the reason I think sometimes I feel like, do I a one person or multiple personality inside me? One moment different. With this person, my personality changed. Another person, my personality changed. Even the way I spoke to one person to another person different. Oh, how many persons are inside me? Is this I'm only a one person? Like these kind of questions are coming up to me recently. Like asking myself, do I like I felt like I'm
Yeah,
alone.
because there's no really rigid person today. So it could be anything. And that's why people like with my coaching, and I do some work with them and they become completely different. They can't even they really say that they can't even figure out who they, because they're completely, your experience.
Yeah.
You're like, you look at in the back end and you're like, oh my God, who is that? So because we are not rigid, solid person,
Yes.
you could become anything.
Hmm. And also it's time for me like really for be more aware on the input, I think, because it's easily shaping me. Because I'm
Yes.
so feel like fragile. I'm feeling like I'm so vulnerable
Yeah,
now at
because
this
you are
point.
empathic, and people who are working with me and plus who are listening to this content are very empathetic, this extreme, so they feel other people's emotions as they are, and so they need to be more extra conscious about their inputs, garbage in, garbage out. So, like, they need to be extremely conscious about it. And I was unconsciously using this tool, the inputs, right inputs into me. And that makes a huge difference. That makes a huge difference. And that's why sometimes you be around with people who are, and that's why sometimes it creates an ashram around the realized person. There's a realized
Yes.
person, and because people want to be around that person, because that itself just enhance their consciousness.
It's like, yeah, I could say I felt like more like, very soft kind of. I need to protect myself with, some, because it's like, I can be this and that. Sometimes I can easily confused with myself, because even if I go out with 1 hour with a person, I will confuse with whether I become that person.
Yeah. And then you act like, I remember that happened. One time I had a call with you, and then you were in India, and then you were like, what's going on with Punita? I could literally see it's not your energy. I can literally say that because I can feel the energy, and I could literally see this is not Punita's energy.
You know what I'm doing here in this room? Only protect me. It's similar like an old century person go to some cage or somewhere to be alone. I'm doing in a modern world.
I was doing the same. I was in this phone was on the airplane mode. No, nothing. I was just in this room. This is my case. This is what this is the lab, everything that I was doing in this room. Yeah. And it's, like I could have
from the outside, people can say something like, why this girl is always put her in some cage kind of lock and then sit down inside. For me,
but for me, I was going in the inward journey. So I was even losing the focus about what's going on outside. So I was going inward journey, and that was so interesting to me.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, so I wasn't care how long I'll stay in
even people ask me to come for distraction or anything. I'll be like, I have more interesting stuff going on in my life.
Exactly. Yeah, only people who are seekers know this, only they know it. Yeah, because inward journey is what we all all seek. At the end, everyone is looking for enlightenment, but they look for different places. Even my teacher used to say something very interesting example. He says that people are looking for mangoes in the bamboo trees. You won't find mangoes in bamboo trees. That's what people are doing. So, everyone is looking for happiness in different ways, but at the end, they are looking for the ultimate happiness. There's a one poem chanting, which is Nibbanam Paraman Sukham, which is to say translation that Nirvana, the enlightenment, is the ultimate bliss. And I confirm it.
Yeah, we have a lot of type of pleasure, like hearing music and
lot of
everything.
Pleasure,
and this is the ultimate.
This is the ultimate bliss. Everyone looking for it, but in wrong places. But they will come to eventually to here. But I don't know for how long. Maybe many lives it would take.
It's also some kind of willingness to let go of something doesn't serve
us. But it's someone. if someone go in the path looking for happiness, ultimately they will come to enlightenment. And so that's a good one. So we wind up the session for later. I think it's more than 1 hour. So okay, then we'll meet in next week. So have a great day. Take care.
Okay. Take care.